Hello everyone, welcome to another Insurance Toolkits lead training video. Today we're going to be talking about 10 key factors that you need to be implementing into your business today when handling leads to be optimizing your performance. So when handling leads, you do have to work a little bit differently. You have to be a little more attentive to your leads, a little more nurturing of your leads, and you may have to alter your sales process, your pitches, your scripts a little bit different because you're not working a cold call, you're not working off referrals. You are specifically talking to people who have a short attention span, who have already displayed some intent in this insurance program, whether it's life insurance, health insurance, final expense, Medicare, etc. So you're going to have to be a little more careful and articulate with your process. So the 10 quick hit points that we're going to go over, the first one being is you have to make sure you have the right tools to track your leads, whether that be a lead management system, whether that be a CRM. There are certain CRMs out there that offer lead management systems and a CRM in one, whether that be an auto dialer. You want to make sure you're performing in the best way you can by being able to track your leads. So tracking leads isn't just seeing what leads come in and then having that all in a big database. You want to see how are these leads being dispositioned. Are they sold? Are they not sold? Are they good numbers, bad numbers? Have they already been sold? As the client passed away? How can we disposition these leads so we can either so we can give our a little bit of vetting to the vendor we're buying from to make sure that we're buying high quality leads, but also to be vetting ourselves more importantly, because a lead at the end of the day is a lead. You can have a bad salesman and a good salesman side by side and give them both the same lead, and one can sell it and one won't. So it really comes down to your sales process. So make sure you have some sort of tool to track your leads, whether that be a CRM, auto dialer, and a lead management system, or just a CRM, but something that's efficient for you to track your leads, which brings me to my next point, which is tracking the lead metrics. So if you have a platform like a CRM that allows you to disposition leads, that's a good starting point. You can use that for a good amount of time. But we also want to be tracking our lead metrics. Specifically, we want to be tracking our CPL, which is our cost per lead, and our CPA, which is our cost per acquisition. So as a quick example here, if you're buying leads that are $10 per lead and you buy 10 of them, that's $100 worth of leads. But let's say it takes you 3 leads to get one actual sale or to close one deal. You have to contact 3 of those leads. You are going to be spending $30 to acquire a new client. So your cost per lead is $10, but your cost per acquisition is $30. So if you buy 100 leads, you know that you need to, if you buy 10 leads, you know that in those 10 leads, there's at least 3 sales, because 3, 3, 3 is 9, and then there's a 10th one at the end. So you should be able to track your metrics over time. What that allows you to do is be a little more specific and kind of hone in your skills when purchasing leads, so you can start to really understand how you perform with the leads that you're buying. Everyone's numbers are going to be different. Now, there is some industry standards, but everyone's specific performance metrics will vary lead by lead, lead vertical by lead vertical, whether that's Medicare, life insurance, etc. Whether that's life insurance, auto insurance, health insurance. So you have to get an understanding your own metrics and how you perform with your leads. And you'll be able to, the more data you have, the more accurate you'll become over time, and the more that you can optimize your lead purchasing process. So tracking your leads, your CPL and your CPA, if you can get those 2 down, you can get a really good understanding on how efficient you are with your leads, and you can start to increase, decrease, and kind of mix and match your lead purchasing power. Our third point, which I did reference in another video, is your speed to contact. So I won't go into too much detail here. Go back and reference that video. It's in the same playlist. But your speed to contact is just as it sounds. It is the point from when a lead hits your inbox and the speed that it takes you to contact that lead. On average, we see about a 400% increase in closing a lead, converting it from a lead to a closed deal, when you contact that lead within the first 60 minutes. So if you have a lead that you got on Monday and you're not calling until Wednesday, you have just significantly decreased the odds of you being able to close that lead. A, because the client loses interest. B, other agents are probably reaching out to him because that person's submitting quotes and requests through multiple vendors. And then 3, it's just been a good amount of time and your client or your prospect may have already lost interest, like I said. So speed to contact, but you can go reference the other video for more details. Number 4 is having a solid script. So there's two types of scripts. There's a script you use to set an appointment, and there's a script that you use to actually do a sales presentation. Those two scripts are going to look different because the first script, you are trying just to capture their attention in the moment so you can get your foot in the door or schedule an appointment over the phone, whatever your sales process is. Whereas the second script of your actual sales process is going to be your presentation, how you're handling objections, how you're building value, how you're digging out the why from your client, etc. So making sure you have a solid script paired with knowing your metrics, paired with understanding that you have a good tool to use to track your leads is all going to be very, very fluid and help you with your sales process. This last point is actually a 6-step process that I'll kind of run through here rather quickly. Step 1 is to identify, understand your leads. So who are you targeting? What's your demographic? Where and why are you targeting them? If you're selling final expense leads, you're probably not going to be targeting 18 to 21-year-old people who are fresh out of high school or fresh out of college. You're going to be targeting people who are between the ages of 50, 60, and 70, 80 years old who are in that mindset of maybe they have a family, they have a wife and kids, they have a husband and kids, they have a house, they have more assets, and they have a little more of a why on why they would be preparing for a final expense plan or burial insurance plan. So identify what your target demographic is, and then understanding your leads is going to help you with your conversations, who you're talking to, and the way that you talk to them, because that conversation looks very, very different decade over decade. When you're 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60, and 70, your why is probably much different at each of those age brackets. Step 2 is generating and collecting intelligence about your leads. What are they interested in? What type of demographic in terms of location and hobbies are you looking at? That can really help you with building rapport. So over time, again, these things are done and tracked over time. You're not going to track your CPA, your CPL, and understanding your lead demographic off of one order. These are things that need to be tracked over time because the more data you have, the more accurate you can be. So once you identify and understand your leads, start to generate and collect intelligence about your leads. Who are you buying? What are they about? What kind of area they're in? What are their interests? What are their hobbies? What is meaningful to them, etc. And that brings you into step 3. Over time, you can start to score your leads. So if you're buying a final expense leads in XYZ county that you know historically has very poor performance for you, you can give that a lower score. Maybe if you have a scale of 1 to 5, if someone's a 5 out of 5, it's a high quality lead. If they're a 1 out of 5, it's a low quality lead. You can start to score your leads and demographics so you can prioritize where your actual lead money is going. This is very helpful, especially in the first 1 to 2 years when you're getting your routine down, you're spending money on leads, you're budgeting, and you're a little more tight. It can really help you to optimize your lead purchasing, the power that you have, because you're going to spend your dollars more wisely. And if you have X amount of money this week to buy in leads, and you have been scoring your leads over the past X amount of months or X amount of years, you can really start to, okay, I'm only going to buy in this area and only buy exclusive leads in this county because they give me the highest ROI. The next step, which is incredibly important, especially for longevity and collecting referrals, is to nurture your leads. So typically we see that it takes about 7 contact attempts to get a lead from a prospect and a lead that you have to 7 attempts later, that deal's closed, you have that appointment set, whatever the outcome is. A range of about 5 to 7 contact attempts. If you're only contacting your lead 1, 2, 3 times and calling it a bad lead, you're just simply not putting yourself in a position to even have a good chance of getting those leads to actual clients. When someone expresses interest in something to you, it's your job as an agent to capture that interest, nurture that lead, get them to trust you, have that rapport, get in their home, find out what their why is, and then bring the solution to the problem that they have. And you can only do that by nurturing leads and developing that relationship. And then, of course, after those leads are nurtured, step 5 is passing off your leads to sales. So now that you have that bundle of leads that you have nurtured, you have scored, you've collected information about them, you understand who they are and where they live and identified them, and you kind of understand who you're speaking with, and you do your sales process, that nurtured lead is now perfect to be in a position to pass off that lead and now get it closed as a sale. So going from basically a prospect, and a lead to an actual client are 2 entirely different conversations. And then that brings us to the very last step, which is step 6, And again, that is to track and measure your leads. So by doing all of these, giving yourself the right tools to track your leads, understanding the metrics in which you're going to be looking at those leads, you have a solid script, you're contacting them quickly, you know who you're talking to, where you're talking to them, and why you're talking to them, you've nurtured and built rapport with that lead, you give yourself the highest possible chance to be a successful, but more importantly, long-term agent who's going to have the longevity aspect. It doesn't do you any good as a new agent to have success for a year. We want you to have success year over year over year over year over year. So following these 10 steps, 11 steps that we outlined in this video is going to put you in the best possible position you can to achieve all of those goals. So again, make sure that you are putting yourself in a position to not only know who you're talking to, but being able to track who you're talking to, because in this day and age, information that you read one day is kind of forgotten about by the next. So make sure you're tracking everything. And again, your CPL and your CPA is just a place you want to start. The more accurate and the more information you can collect, the better that you will perform. And you're going to optimize, again, your lead performance. So hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, head over to our website, insurancetoolkits.com. You can shoot us a live chat message, or you can email me personally, which is colton@fextoolkit.com. Or you can schedule a 15-minute lead coaching meeting by clicking on the link in the description, and we can have a more in-depth conversation about you